toss it over to Dominic. He's going to introduce our first segment over here, which is AMC Theaters reopening plan. Take it, D.
Yep, with reporting by Brooke Barnes. I'm actually going to take some pivotal quotes here and just kind of present it for discussion. So, quote, in just 3 weeks, Hollywood is scheduled to restart its supply pipeline of new films. Quote, theaters in 90% of overseas markets will be running again by mid-July. Quote, Cinemark said it would begin reopening theaters in the United States on June 19th, with the goal of having every location popping popcorn again by July 10th. Quote, the Tennessee-based Regal Theaters, which operates cinemas in 42 states, has indicated that it would also reopen in July. Last quote here. The question, however, is whether people, even while watching movies in well-sanitized theaters with limited capacity, will feel safe from the coronavirus, unquote. My further questions for all of us here. Should people feel safe? Are we anywhere close to having the right to feel safe? And what are the risks? Of which the article also goes into those as well. But I think they're kind of self-evident just from everyone's new normal here in our daily lives here, 3 months into the coronavirus and the global pandemic. I'll start off by saying we've talked about this like 2 or 3 times already. And this article is pretty much just signaling like, this is like the prophetic, if disaster happens in like 6 months, this is the article that people are going to go back to. And, I want to be wrong in my personal beliefs, but I simply cannot do that. Not when everyone I know is bracing for a second wave. People in the healthcare industry, people in other industries, and just even all sorts of news media. So I could go on. I can, but I guess we'll toss it to you, Joe, for now.
Okay, like, I get that businesses have to reopen. Like, I get it. I totally do. And ever since now, restaurants have opened back up. I actually took my mom out to dinner. We went to a patio dining type of thing to keep you 6 feet away. Rather than serving you dishes or silverware to keep, no contamination whatsoever, to keep as many germs off of everything as possible, they gave us plastic forks, knives, and they served everything in like the take-home like containers that you can bag your food in. And then they just throw it out afterwards. And, the waiters wear masks, they wear gloves, so does the cooking staff, and all this other stuff. I mean, they're taking precautions. The thing is, though, is that, and I keep coming back to this, is that, like, I trust more of the restaurant business to do that because that was always a thing they had to do. Like, you have to be clean, you have to keep this because an inspector can come and shut you guys down. While a theater, I'm sorry, but, like, cleanliness at the theater isn't the top priority most of the time. I can't trust that 13-year-old kid who got this job over the summer. I'm sorry, 15-year-old kid. That if he's 13, he can't work. 15-year-old kid that got this job over the summer, and I have to trust him now to go and clean all the seats in a theater before the next crowd goes and sees Scoob, Tenet, Mulan, whatever it may be that they open up in theaters with. It just has me worried, man. I don't know. There's something about a theater reopening, it just doesn't sound right compared to some of the other businesses reopening. Like, I got my hair cut, but like I see the precautions that they're taking and everything, and the steps and like what they're implementing, and it's just like, okay, I can see that. I still don't know what AMC is going to do other than it's like, what, just because I have a seat between me and the next person? Like, that, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I totally understand the skepticism. I really thought that theaters were almost going to be lumped in with concerts and stuff like that because it is mass gatherings.
Yeah.
And it only takes really one person. I'm not going to lie, Joe, like you, I got my hair cut last week. Went out to the bar this weekend. Social distancing was taking place at the bar. Masks were being worn. To tell you the truth, it wasn't very crowded even at night. So, like, I was able to kind of have my own little section and stuff like that, my own table and everything. But I'm it's wild too because like honestly at the start of July, Unhinged, the new Russell Crowe movie, is set to come out in theaters July 1st with Christopher Nolan's Tenet to follow on the 17th of July. It's going to be very tempting for somebody like me who loves going to the movies not to go out there.
Yeah.
But the problem too comes into the fact that it's like, the precautions you take You know what you're comfortable with as an individual.
Yeah.
Like, I have no problem wearing a mask in public. I don't. I'm not one of those people that rants and raves about it. It doesn't really bother me. I have to wear them at work. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If it makes other people feel safe, that's the other kicker too. It's more to protect people around you than it is to protect you. And I don't think people get that. I don't think people get that about masks. But anyway, the other thing too is AMC is looking. Did you see some of the stuff that they're looking at, like looking into infrastructure wise, Dominic, to like put in place this company that just lost $200 billion with a B dollars over the last 3 months of being closed.
$2 billion, not $200 billion.
$2 billion. Excuse me, $2
I was gonna say,
billion.
I'm like,
I
they
wrote
should
that
be
down
out.
wrong. I wrote that down.
That's their own
wrong.
country.
They should be down and out at that $2 billion loss, though. Excuse me. AMC is apparently looking into high-tech vacuums and quote-unquote electrostatic sprayers. Company that just lost $2 billion. They're looking at these sort of high-tech equipments. So I don't know. My question, though, is that, not to interrupt you, Dom, I'll throw it over to you in a sec. The one thing, though, I want to say is you got to remember, I live in a smaller rural area that has an AMC Classic out here. Most of these AMC Classics are abomination, I swear. But, like, I don't see them getting upgrades. Jesus, they still have, like, the most uncomfortable seats. You know what I mean? I don't see them upgrading every single AMC theater. Dom, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, necessity is the mother of invention. Not to say that these are new inventions. I think I've never heard of it personally, but they've probably been around. But you know, what I'm saying is, you know, these trying times will drive, you know, major societal changes. So maybe, you know, those what's it, electrostatic cleaners. Okay,
Yeah.
sounds high tech. Maybe that's the magic bullet. I don't know. If it is, okay, awesome, do it. I'm actually kind of glad that they're looking into that, something different, as opposed to, again, relying on the couple of 17-year-olds for this summer. We're totally generalizing, you know,
We are,
theater
yeah.
workers. And again, we don't mean to punch down on, you know, said 17-year-olds, 15-year-olds.
The 17-year-olds don't get paid enough to do that.
They don't get
to
paid.
begin-
They shouldn't be having to do this much work. You know, we're going back to our last two conversations, but, you know, hundreds of people's of lives should not be in their hands. It's ridiculous that they would have to go through that for the sake of this, you know, billions of dollars as a company, which is just absolutely ridiculous. We all feel bad for them. That's what we're saying. But you know, again, as Joe mentioned earlier, and as the article states too, quote, and Steve, quote, AMC said on Tuesday that it lost $2.18 billion in its latest quarter, compared with a loss of $130 million a year earlier. That is a several 1,000% loss in terms of profit margins. Quote, AMC had $718 million in cash, enough to stave off bankruptcy through the fall, even if theaters remain closed. So from a business, from a CEO, you know, point of view, okay, sure, it's either all or nothing. You gotta try, or else there's nothing left, you know. And then you know, thousands of people will lose their job, which is just adding more on top of the 40 million that are currently unemployed. Depression era levels, by the way. So sure, I sympathize with that, but you know, is tens of thousands of people losing their job worth and possibly infecting hundreds of thousands? That's not an easy choice. I'm not saying that that's easy, but I personally can make that choice, which is no, I'm sorry, AMC, you kind of fucked up. I guess you just hey, the free market spoke, and I guess people didn't need luxury theaters. Maybe you shouldn't have invested all that, and maybe you should have foreseen something crazy like that happen. And so, I don't know. Final thoughts on that, or surrounding thoughts?
Joe, I'll let you take it.
I mean, like, look, man, I bring this up every time when we talk about, like, this article, but, like, you know, or anything relating to, like, this whole idea of the theaters opening back up. But the amount of times, like, I had to deal with, you know, kids running around in a theater spreading germs because, like, you know, their parents aren't paying attention. They're, like, licking their fingers because they were just eating popcorn or candy, and now they're putting their hands all over the place and whatnot, and just spreading germs. Like, this happened to me when I went to go see Us a rated R film at like 9:45 at night. Like a whole family came in and they were running around the theater. I can't imagine what's gonna happen when it's finally like these parents who came and stand their kids that used to use movies to distract their kids and make them shut up for like an hour and a half are now like, hey, come on, kids, pile in the van. We're gonna go see Mulan, so you can shut up. And then they're just like, oh, I'm running around the theater. They finally get to get out of the house. Like, I'm hoping these films go to drive-ins because I actually went to the McHenry Drive-In over the weekend. And here's the thing. It's actually pretty good. I was actually like surprised like how much better quality it is than like some of the other drive-ins I've been at. It ain't bad. I saw Shrek 2 and I saw the first two Shrek movies. The quality was good. The audio comes through your radio. I'm like, dude, you know what, man? If for the rest of the year I have to watch newly released films on a drive-in theater, fine with me. I'm totally fine with that.
That does kind of sound nice. I've honestly never been to a drive-in. I mean, out here where I'm at, they're kind of big.
I used to hate them because I saw Suicide Squad and Doctor Strange on a drive-in theater screen, and I used to go to the Cascade. Not to diss the Cascade, I know it's loved by many people, but like, I'm sorry, that screen sucks. Like, I could not tell.
That's what I always worried about.
I could not.
That's what I always worried about.
At all.
Sound quality and picture quality.
Yeah,
those are the two things I always worried about.
And
you know,
and the thing is that with the sound quality, at least at the Cascade, it is it's not that good because like they give you a little crappy radio to hang on your window and you can barely hear anything. McHenry, the picture's clear and the audio's coming through your radio, so it's clear. It's a frequency rather than like a device that has to come through, and so like it just works better. And it's like to me, it's like, man, like, you know, if they announce, because I know he wants his movie in theaters so bad. If it's like Nolan like will allow like drive-in theaters to play Tenet, like it'll be like, all right, finally, I'll go see Tenet now. I'll go see Mulan if these movies come to drive-in theaters. I don't mind. Like, it was fine. It's just being in a theater, like being locked in a room with people that might not really give a damn for 2 hours. Being on a patio with people didn't mind because I'm outside, like and they're 6 feet away with me. But now I'm in a room. I just paid money to be here. I don't know what they're doing. I'm in the dark. For all I know, somebody could be coughing or wiping something on like a seat, and I didn't see it. I don't know. That's me being paranoid, of course. I'm sure it won't be as bad as that, but these are just things that come to my mind based on previous theater experiences.
I'll end with this. We wouldn't say this. Joe and I wouldn't bring this stuff up, especially Joe. I mean, consider how many times we go to the theater. We've seen a lot. There was a whole segment we did on the old Sleepless with Steve on the radio show where we talked about just wild stuff that happened in movie theaters when we were seeing movies. Yeah. Fights, weird stuff. Like, we go enough that we have enough stories. Like, most people don't. Most people don't have those kind of experiences or notice that stuff. Yeah. You go to 3 movies a weekend, 2, 3 like I do, you see a lot of stuff, and it makes you wonder, especially with something like this. Excellent job, Dominic. Excellent job leading that discussion, man.